Hello and welcome to another session of Let's Learn German. I hope you revised the previous sessions and are ready to learn something new today. In today's session, we are going to work with possessive articles. Well, you know what possessive articles are? Well, we are going to do another concept of possessive article where the possessive articles are used as pronouns. Now, you are already familiar with the pronouns ich, du, er, es, sie and sie, and you know that they are the pronouns in singular, and you are also familiar with the possessive article table which we made for these pronouns. So, here if you look, the table is quite clear: meiner, meiner, meins and meiner for ich, deiner, deiner, deins and deiner for du, and for er, sie, es, you know that they have the same possessive form which is seiner, seiner, seins, seiner, and for sie, ihrer, ihre, ihres, ihre, and for the second person formal sie, ihrer, ihre, ihres, ihre. So, you are already familiar with this structure. However, if you see, I have written here with the blue pen the ending for the masculine and as well as for the neutral possessive article, and you are already familiar with this structure here which is embedded here, which is einer, eins, einer, eins, einer, eins, and here ihrer, ihres, ihrer, ihres. If you remember, we learnt how indefinite articles are used as pronouns. Well, the same concept is applied here, where the possessive articles are used as pronouns, where the noun is not attached to the possessive article. If you remember, we learnt possessive article where we had the possessive along with the noun. Here, we are replacing the possessive article and the noun and combining it into a pronoun. So, if you look at the ending, you know that er refers to the masculine gender and s refers to the neutral gender, and no change occurs for the feminine article as well as for the plural article. Well, that is the case for all the possessive articles when they are used as pronouns in the case of ich, du, er, es, sie and sie. Also, I would like to remind you that for the pronouns sie and sie, the size of I is dependent on the size of s which is used here. So, if the s is small, I is small, and if the s is big, I is also big. Now, let us look at some examples and learn how the possessive article functions as a pronomen in the case of singular pronouns. If you look, I have certain sentences here with blanks. Now, let us write the answers together for these blanks. If you look at sentence number 1, ist das Peters CD? We know with name Peter refers to masculine, that is why we have the pronoun here er, and for the noun CD or CD as you know them, the article is feminine. So, combining these two, we get the pronoun here is das Peter CD, ja, das ist seiner. Now, let us look at this question: sind das deine Bücher? Now, you know that the noun Bücher here is in plural and deine is in the possessive article, and if we replace these two, we get the answer: ja, das sind meine. Ist das Ihr Auto? Now, here you know that the noun Auto carries the article das, that is why it belongs to the neutral gender, and here we have the possessive article ihr, and now if we combine the answers here, we get here, ja, das ist meins. Wo ist Ihre Tasche? Here we have the possessive article ihre, and the noun Tasche. Tasche, as you know, belongs to the feminine gender category. With the ending E, it is quite recognizable, and when we ask this question, the answer for this can be used as a pronoun, which would be wo ist ihre Tasche? Meine ist im Büro. Ist das ihr Handy? Now, here the noun Handy will be new to you. It means a mobile telephone, and it carries the article das. That is why we have the N marker here, which shows that the noun belongs to the neutral gender, and Sie, which is for the third person singular feminine. We have the possessive now form here ihr Handy. We combine it together and to form a pronoun. Ja, das ist ihr Res. I hope you are able to understand how the possessive article functions as pronomen for the singular pronouns. Now, we will do an exercise where the student will write the answers, and then we will see if the answers are right or wrong. Now, let us look at the answers given by the student. Here, the student had to correctly find out, based on the cues given in the bracket, what is a correct possessive article for the nouns, and write the correct possessive articles as pronouns. So, let us look at sentence number 1. Wo sind deine Schuhe? Here, the student correctly identified that the noun Schuhe is in plural, and based on the cue given here, which is the du pronoun, the student wrote the correct possessive article deine, and based on the cue given here in the bracket, the student wrote the correct possessive article as pronoun meine sind zu Hause. Now, sentence number 2, ist das Ihr Laptop? Here the student correctly identified that the noun laptop belongs to the masculine gender category, and based on the pronoun Z wrote the correct possessive article ear. And here in this part of the sentence the student also correctly identified that the noun laptop has to be used in the possessive article of pronoun with minor based on masculine gender for laptop and the pronoun ish. Now, for sentence number 3, the student wrote the answer deine Brille, which is the correct answer because Brille carries the article die, which is for feminine gender, and based on the pronoun du, the student wrote the correct ending and the possessive article, which is deine, and based on the Q here in the bracket, the student also wrote the correct answer meine, which is based on the possessive article meine Brille, which is used as a pronoun here. Now, let us look at sentence number 4. Here, the student has written the answer seine, which is correct. The student derived this answer by looking at the plural noun Schlüssel and combining it with the pronoun and with the correct ending, it is seine Schlüssel, which is replaced here with ihre as a pronoun, which is based on plural of the Schlüssel as well as the pronoun sie. Meine Frau ist Ärztin von Beruf. Here, as you can see, Ärztin is a new word for you, which means a lady doctor, and if the question is like this or a statement, then here the answer is meine auch, which means my wife too, and here the student has written the correct answer based on the Q given as F, which refers to Ärztin because it is feminine gender, and on the pronoun ich. Now, for question number 6, wo sind Ihre Kinder? Here the student wrote the correct answer based on the noun Kinder, which is plural as you can see, and for the pronoun sie, second person singular, and writing the big S, which is also the right answer, and combining it as a plural possessive article. Here the student has given the right answer also. Meine sind im Kindergarten, which meine here refers to Kinder, and based on the pronoun ich, the answer has been conjugated. So, as you can see, learning possessive article as pronoun is not difficult as long as you remember the indefinite article as pronoun, which we did in the previous sessions. In the next segment, we are going to do possessive article as pronoun for the pronouns in plural. Now, let us look at possessive article as pronomen in the case of pronouns in plural. You are already familiar with the pronouns in plural. They are wir, ihr, sie and sie, where wir is a first person pronoun, ihr is a second person informal pronoun, sie is the pronoun in third person, and sie here with big S is the pronoun in the second person plural. Now, if you remember, we had done that in the ending with unser, unsere, unser, we have for masculine the ending er, for ihr ar, and ar. However, there are also small variations when you are using possessive articles as pronouns for wir, ihr, where there could be the ending of es for neutral in the case of wir and ihr. So, if we look at the table, we have wir unserer, unsere, unseres and unsere. If you look closely, I have written the alphabet A or E here in bracket, which actually shows that we need this vowel here before we write the consonant R or the S in the respective case. Also, here we have for masculine possessive article as pronoun eurer, we have A here, which is E, because of the presence of er here. So, while writing, we should either write eurer with EURER or with EUERER. And in the same way, we should write the possessive article pronoun of ear, that is euer, as eures. If you look for the pronouns z and z, there isn't any change as was visible in the case of singular pronoun also. So, in the case of z and z in plural, the possessive article as pronoun remains as earer and earer, earer and earer, earess and earer, and earer and earer in all the 4 cases. Also, if you remember, I had told you that for the small s we write the small I, and for big S we write the big S. So, as you can see, the new concepts for you here are only the possessive article as pronoun for the pronouns wir and ihr. Now, let us do some examples and learn these concepts in a better manner. Now, let us do some examples and learn how the possessive article is used as pronoun for the plural pronouns. Now, let us look at this sentence. Ist das Auto? Now, in bracket we have the Q that the noun Auto belongs to the neutral gender, and with the pronoun ihr we have to conjugate and derive the possessive article, which you know would be euer Auto. And now, to write the pronoun here, we have to see what is a Q here, and the Q here is wir, and we know that the ending with neutral gender is as. So, we use ja, das ist unseres. As you know, we are adding the E here because the SE comes between 2 consonants R and S. Now, let us look at sentence number 2. Sind Studenten hier? Here we have the Q in bracket, plural for Studenten, and Z is the second person pronoun in plural. So, we write here sind ihre Studenten hier, and we say nein, looking at the pronoun which is in the bracket, wir, we have the plural article here, unsere sind in der Universität. Now, for sentence number 3, Katze ist 1 Jahr alt. Katze, as you know, is cat, and with the ending a we recognize that the noun Katze belongs to the feminine gender category, and with the pronoun wir we conjugate the article and it is unsere. Katze ist 1 Jahr alt, and using the pronoun for wir we use the possessive article unsere auch. Now, for sentence number 4, ist das Wohnung? Wohnung, as you know, carries the article die, it belongs to the feminine gender, and with ihr as the pronoun we use the possessive article eure, and as the answer for this question we have nein, das ist nicht unsere, which replaces the possessive article eure Wohnung. Now, for the last sentence, sind das Hunde? Herr und Frau Bosch. Hunde, as you know, is the plural term for dogs, and here we have the plural for the pronoun sie, which is ihre, and the answer is nein, das sind nicht unsere. Now, as you can see, it is not difficult to understand how possessive article functions as pronoun for the plural pronouns if you remember the correct article for the each noun as well as the correct plural form of each noun. Now, let us do an exercise on the same pattern where a student would write the answers, and we will see if the answers given by the student are right or wrong. Now, we will do an exercise where the student would write the answers and if we would see if the answers are right or wrong. Now, let us look at the answers given by the student. Euer Garten ist klein, unserer ist aber groß. Both the answers are correct. If you look, the noun Garten, as you can see, belongs to the masculine gender category marked by M, and the student correctly identified the possessive article which should go with the pronoun ihr, which is euer Garten, and here the student wrote the correct possessive article pronoun which belongs to the pronoun wir and in the masculine gender which is unserer, which relates to the noun Garten. Wo sind eure Pässe? Pässe is the plural form for passports. Now, the student has written here the answer, wo sind eure Pässe? Unsere sind in der Tasche. Here the student correctly identified that the noun is in plural and with the pronoun ihr, the form of possessive article would be eure with e as the ending, and here the student also correctly identified that with the pronoun wir, the possessive article as pronoun is unsere, which refers to Pässe, which is correctly mentioned here. Ist das euer Gepäck? Nein, unseres ist zu Hause. Here also the student correctly identified that the noun Gepäck belongs to the neutral gender category, and with the pronoun ihr we have the possessive article euer, and replacing these two the student wrote the correct possessive article pronoun which is unseres, as you can see from the ending es or as, which refers to the noun das Gepäck. Now, in sentence number 4, sind eure Zimmer klein? Ja, unsere Zimmer sind auch klein. Here the student has written the correct answer by combining here the plural form of Zimmer, which means rooms, for both the question in this form where the pronoun ihr's possessive form eure and wir's possessive form unsere has been added. In sentence number 5, the student has correctly written the plural form of the noun Nachbarn with its possessive article ihr, which is eure, and for the noun Nachbarn, the student has correctly written for the pronoun wir the possessive article unsere. Wo stehen eure Wasserflaschen? Wasserflaschen means water bottles. Unsere sind im Keller. Im Keller means in the basement. Now here also the student has written the correct plural form of the possessive article eure with respect to the pronoun ihr, and also here the student has written the correct plural form of possessive article as pronoun based on the pronoun wir. So, in this exercise, the students not only wrote the correct possessive article as pronoun, however, the student also wrote the correct possessive article for the respective noun for sentence number 4, 5 and also for 6. As you can see, this exercise was a mixed form of exercise where the student had to write not only the possessive article along with the noun, but also the possessive article without the noun. So, as you can see, this exercise was easily done. Like our student, you too can also do this exercise without any problem if you learn your nouns, the articles of the nouns and the plural forms as well as the verbs and revise them on a regular basis. So, in the next session, we are going to do possessive article as pronoun in the accusative case. And as I always say, auf Wiedersehen, tschüss.